सा हृदय कमल सी स्वच्छ, कमल सी निर्मल, कमल सी सुंदर, नित जो साईं चरण कमल में झुकी हुई सी और समर्पित, बाल विकास है जिनकी साधना, प्रेम पुत्र जिनके है कई, उस जननी को शत शत वंदन, है साईं भगत असल में यही, है साईं भगत असल में यही. Divinely nurtured blossom to be the guiding light of Sri Satya Sai Bal Vikas. I'm sure that you got the name right. Yes, it's Srimati Kamala Pandya. Srimati Kamala Pandya is that unique mother who is blessed with thousands and thousands of Prem Putra and Putri. Her Bal Vikas children and alumni spread across the globe. This is a unique bond of motherly love, which each of her Bal Vikas children experienced and enjoy with her. A practicing advocate of the Bombay High Court, Srimati Kamala Pandya has done her law from the Bombay University, during which she was awarded with the gold medal for jurisprudence. Prior to her law degree, she did her graduation in psychology from Mumbai University, for which she was awarded a gold medal. The Sai of psychology, anchored as psychology, adds meaning to her life and guides her all through, under whose divine lotus feet she continues to serve till date. Her third gold medal was received directly from the divine hands of Bhagwan Baba himself during the graduation of the EHV course at Prashanti Nilayam. She has been practicing law for more than 3 decades now and has specialized in personal law and mergers and acquisitions in her various assignments. As with Srimati Kamala Pandya's association with the Sri Satya Sai Seva organization goes, she joined Swami's fold at the young age of 6, when she had her first interview with her family at Prashanti Nilayam. Thereafter, she became a Bal Vikas Guru at the age of 17 and has since then been very closely associated with the Bal Vikas movement and is currently the national coordinator for Bal Vikas of the organizations. Her marriage to Sri Nimish Pandya was performed by Bhagwan himself in Prashanti Nilayam, following which Bhagwan visited their family home in Kolaba, blessing the couple and the family. As per Bhagwan's direction, she studied law after her marriage and changed her profession from teaching to pleading. The morning and the evening dramas at Sai Kulwant Hall in Prashanti Nilayam during Ashadi Ekadasi are directed through the devoted efforts of Sri Nimish and Shrimati Kamala Pandya, who ensure that all the presentation are offered at his divine lotus feet in the best way possible. These celebrations are unimaginable without the guidance and presence of Srimati Kamala Pandya, often seated quietly at the ladies' side corner. Dharma Kshetra. The Sai Center at Mumbai is the Karma Kshetra for Srimati Kamala Pandya, where she has been actively serving. This evening, we are blessed to be in the company of this humbling and equipoised personality. Put your hands together for Srimati Kamala Pandya.
Sairam, thank you, Mehak.
Sairam Auntie, thank you so much.
Today I'm going to talk about the lessons I learned at the lotus feet of Bhagwan. And therefore I'm going to take you back to your childhood, when you were small and you used to attend Bal Vikas. So you're going to learn about the ABC of life. Can we have the screen, please? Can you give it in a slideshow? That's fine. So we'll start with the ABC of life. Without much ado, A, B, C of life. For all of us here who are young and old, always be childlike. Always be cheerful. Always be cautious. And I'll add one more, always be careful. As Balvika's children, many of you would be, that you learned that song, be careful little eyes, what you see, what you see. Be careful little eyes, what you see, what you see. There is I within you, he is always watching you. Be careful little eyes, what you see, what you see. But not only the eyes, everything. Be careful little ears, be careful little nose, be careful little tongue, be careful little hands, be careful little legs, be careful little mind. This is what we have to be always careful about. And the best way to enter the kingdom of God is to become like little children. And that is the lesson that we have all learned as Balvika's children. Not only does the child who attends Balvikas find changes in herself or himself, but even the guru undergoes a change. Let us see what happens when we attend Balvikas. We go to the next alphabet. Don't ever lose faith in God. Don't ever lose faith in God and Baba. Be always attached to God because God exists. I'm here reminded of a beautiful story which we always share with our children, that is Be Like Gaurang. One day Gaurang had a dream in which Krishna comes to him and says, be like me. Play the flute and listen to the melody of the flute. When Gaurang got up, he decided that he would buy a flute and start singing, playing the flute. So he started playing the flute in the early hours of the morning. The neighbors got disturbed and they one day grabbed the flute from his hand and broke it. Gaurang said, you don't like my flute? Doesn't matter. I'll buy a dholak. So he started playing a dholak. And he would move around the streets, again playing the dholak. So the neighbors got tired. My God, now a flute has gone, now a dholak has come. I can't tolerate this. So they all went and banged at the dholak and cracked it. Gaurang said, you don't like my dholak? Don't worry. I will do away with it. And then from the next day, he started clapping his hands and singing and walking around the streets of the little village. And what happened at that time? The ladies and the gents of the village didn't like his singing in the morning and loud clapping. They went and threw stones at him and hurt him, that he fell down bleeding. At that time, somebody thought that he is no more. So they rushed forward and they kept their ears to his body. And they found that every cell in the body was singing the loud name of Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So you have to be like Gaurang. Have faith in God. Have faith in Bhagwan. And not only our Baba, but even Hanuman is a beautiful story that we all tell our children. That Hanuman, when he returned from Lanka, having been victorious with Rama and Sita wanted to give him some award. So she went up and she took out her pearl necklace and put it on the hands of Hanuman. And what did Hanuman do? He picked up the necklace, put it in the ears, and then bit it and threw the pearls. Sita was shocked. My beautiful necklace, what are you doing, Hanuman? Hanuman just nodded and said, listen. He plucked the hair from his hand and said, listen to this. And each hair was resounding with the name of Rama. So we must remember that we must have intense faith in God. And all of us are lucky who have had the proximity with Bhagwan, to have lived with him, shared with him the important moments of your life. As we move ahead, I will share with you some of the important moments of my life. Remember that the G in your life is God, and He exists. He's always there. And here you have a beautiful story of the 19 horses. You know, I'm an advocate, and a lot of people come to me to make wills, the last testament of their life. So one gentleman came to me and said, "Ma'am, will you make a will for me?" I said, "Sure, what is there so difficult in making a will? I'll do it for you." I said, "What do you have and who are in your house?" He said, "I'm a widower and I have 19 horses." Fine. How do you want to distribute it? You know, I have a son, Raju. I would like to give half of my horses to Raju. I have a servant, Ramu, who looks after me. I'll give 1/4 of my horses to Ramu. And I go every evening to Dharmakshetra to listen to the bhajan. I'll give 1/5 of my horses to Dharmakshetra as a way of expressing my gratitude to God. I said, "So simple, that's all, no, nothing else. Do you want an executor?" He said, No, you make Mr. Gopi the executor. Fine. I made the will. I got it signed by 2 witnesses in the presence of that gentleman, and everything went well, and this will was packed and kept away. Suddenly, after 15 days, the old man passed away. And everybody said, "Where's the will? Where's the will?" And they came and they found that the will was in the house, and they opened the will. The executor, Mr. Gopi, opened the will and said, "Oh God," when he read the first line of the will, "My God, who has made this will? Ma'am, what have you done? You have made a will which is faulty in the first line." I said, "What have I done?" He says, "You write in the first line that I have 19 horses. Give half of my horses to Raju, my son." What would be half of 19? Yes, you can give me in the chat box, or you can put up your hand. Then half of 19 is 9.5. How can I make? Yes, I can't slaughter a horse into half. So we were thinking like that, and suddenly in that place where we were seated came a wise old man riding on horseback. And he got down and he said, "Ma'am, why are you so worried? What's the matter?"
निशांत की दुनिया याद है?
So
निशांत था ना उसका नाम? नहीं.
I think we should put all.
Kindly mute yourself, please. Those who are speaking in between.
19 horses. Half of 19 is 9.5. And this gentleman got down and says, "Add this 20th horse, my horse on which I have come riding, and bring all the horses together." So all the 19 plus 1 were added, and there was 20. And now you will see that this is the 20 can be divided. Half of 20 is 10. Give 10 to Raju, my son. Then 1/4 of 20 is 5. Give 5 to Ramu, my servant. 1/5 of 20 is 4. Give 4 to Dharmakshetra. That means 10 plus 5 plus 4, 19. And the old man sat on his horse, the 20th horse, and fled away. I said, Stop, uncle, what are you doing?" He said, I have done what I have to do. Remember that whenever you have problems in life, remember God exists, and that is the 20th horse in your life. So whenever we have problems, remember the 20th horse that will save you from all problems. A beautiful word. Let's go back to grace itself. The previous slide. Yeah. This is a beautiful word that Bhagwan said to me when I was just about to get married. I had a lot of problems, financial problems in our life, and my father was passing through great problems before we got married. So at that time, Swami started taking a lot of interest in my life and kept telling me to do this, to do that. It asked about the Bal Vikas of Bombay, everything. He would call me Bombay Bal Vikas. That was a loving term, endearment to me. So once when the marriage took place, was about to take place by Swami, he told the date, and the date was given as 9th of June. And on 7th of June, he called me for an interview with my mother and mother-in-law. And he started giving us what all we had to wear for the wedding day. So when he went in the first time, he brought out a red, starkling red sari. So I thought this must be for the bride. And so I put my hand out. He said, not for you. He gave it to my mother-in-law who has got white hair. I said, what is Swami doing? Giving a red sari to an old lady? He went in again and brought another sari, an orange one. This time he gave it to my mother and he said, not for you. I was shocked. He went the third time in and he brought a third sari. And then it was a blue color sari. He said, Mega Sham, Mega Sham. And then he gave it to me and said, this is for you. Then I listened to everything and then I said, Swami, I want to ask you one thing. Why are you doing all this for me? I have not done anything. Why are you doing all this? Swami said, I have great anugrah for you. And that is the word grace that he spoke about. And therefore, whenever I sing the letters of Bal Vikas, I always incorporate that letter in my Bal Vikas. Balvikas. A simple song like Do Re Mi. B for blessings, count them now. A for anugrah, that's grace. L for love that flows from in. V for values, one and all. I for integration. K for knowledge of the soul. A for anugrah, that's grace that will bring us back to SAI Sai. This was the song which I sang at Purna Chandra Hall. And when I came to the line SAI, at that time, Swami moved the curtains of Purna Chandra Hall and wheeled in his chair. That is the grace that I shared from the lotus feet of Bhagwan. Let's go on to the next letter. In Bal Vikas, in EHV, we always talk about the 3 HV. The 3 HVs are the head, hand, and heart. And this is how I explain to the children that you must remember that the 3 HVs in our life is the head, hand, and heart. The traffic signal in your life will remind you of this. Whenever a thought comes to your head, stop. Remember the red of the traffic signal. Pause. Take the approval of the heart. Is this thought correct or not? If that pausing is the amber, the color of the signal changing from red to amber, and then only when the signal goes to green, then you move forward. And that is why the 3 HV is when a head, hand, and heart. First, let the thoughts that come to your head stop. Think, pause. Is it correct? Should I do it? Take the approval of the heart. And finally, if the answer is yes, move the hand forward and act. So this is how the red, the amber, and the green signal goes on. And this will also give us happiness. We are reminded of a beautiful story, the balloon story. A professor once came to class and said, I'm going to take a little activity session. Nobody wants to listen to lessons all the time. So here was an activity lesson. He gave each child a balloon and he said, inflate that balloon, write your name and put it on the floor. And then go and get that balloon back. So everybody, there were about 50 children, all blew their balloons and threw it on the floor after writing their name. And there was total pandemonium. There was noise and confusion. The professor said, stop. I'm changing my modus operandi. What are you going to do now? You're going to take the balloon kept in front of your feet. Pick up that balloon, inflate it, and give it to the person next to you. So simple. Each one blew the balloon and inflated it and gave it to the next person. There was not a confusion. What was a lesson that we learned from this? That happiness lies in sharing, in giving and forgiving, not in grabbing. Remember, always give and forgive, because that is what is love, not getting and forgetting. Let us move on to the next I. If you want to inculcate the value of truth, we talk about Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa. Swami told me that if you want to inculcate the value of truth, you must train your intellect, sharpen your intellect. And that is why memory training is very important. That is why Vedas is now becoming the culture of our Balvikas and of the spiritual wing. That every person of the organization is learning to practice Vedas, because it has been proved that Sanskrit helps memory training. So you must train the intellect and widen the intuition, awaken the intuition, the voice of God within, and then you will realize the truth. So this is therefore IIT, not IIT. Intuition plus intellect will give us truth, not the Institute of Trained Technology, but this is IIT. Intuition and intellect will give us truth. J. The next letter is judicious mix of bhakti, seva and dhyan. Whenever we have joined, wherever you are, whether as a youth wing or as a Balvikas Guru or as a Seva Dal, remember you must inculcate in your life all the three wings: education, seva and bhakti. You must make your life like a bhel puri, like the Bombay bhel. There must be the tikka chutney, the meetha chutney, the mango, the potatoes, the kurmura. Everything must be as a mix. Or like the South Indian sambar. Everything must be a judicious mix. Then only will it be palatable, will life be easy. So remember, mix of bhakti, seva and jnana must be a part of your life. And then you will find that life becomes a very palatable experience. Now let's move on to K. We'll do kindle the light. I'm going to take you to an activity now, because what I learned in Thailand was the practice of dhyana. In there, at the age of 5 and 6, small little Thai boys would come to their class and practice meditation, silent sitting. So let us have an experience of how we should meditate. All of you all sit comfortably. Keep your hands resting on your thighs, or maybe in this mudra, Chinna mudra or Jnana mudra. And then as I lead you forward, you follow it. Close your eyes after seeing the candle that is lit in front. If you can darken the room, it will be fine. Otherwise, just concentrate on the light. And imagine the light resting in the region of the eyebrows. If you can imagine, then continue. But if you cannot, open your eyes, visualize the candle again and bring it back to the region between the eyebrows. Slowly, the eyes are closing. And repeat after me, I am that, I am that, I am that. So hum, so hum, so hum. Take that light from the region of your eyebrows to the spiritual heart and see that light resting in that heart. As the light enters, you will find that the petals of your heart, of the lotus of your heart, open up and become vibrant. Take that light now to the region of your eyes. See the light in your right eye and the left eye. Your eyes have become pure. The eyes are the windows of the face. They will make you see the world and therefore observe that light in the right eye and the left eye. Now these eyes have been purified. They will only see good. Take the light to the ears, the right ear and the left ear. These ears have been sanctified. They will only hear good words, good language. Take the light down the nose. This nose has been purified. It will only smell good. Take the light to the tongue. This will help you to sanctify your tongue. You will speak good words and you will eat good food. Slowly let the light go down your throat, onto your right shoulder, down the right arm, to the fingers of your right hand, across the chest, to the left arm, left hand, to the fingers of the left hand. These hands have become pure. These hands have become holy. Swami says, hands that help are holier than lips that pray. Slowly let the light of the candle continue to move down the stomach. Your digestion improves. Your entire health improves. Because the stomach is the important organ of the body which supplies the blood to different parts. It supplies the energy to different parts of your body. Then let the light go down the legs, the right leg and the left leg, to the toes of the right foot and the left foot. These feet will walk on the path of Dharma. Slowly let the light go up the spinal column, back to the head, to the region of the eyebrows, and bring it to the spiritual heart. And see Bhagwan seated in your heart. Place your head at his feet and pray to him. Oh Baba, make me your child true and pure. Help me to be kind and loving, sincere and forgiving. Let the light go out in ever widening circles to bless your mother and father, your brothers and sisters. Pray for your uncles and aunts, your grandparents. Pray for your servants, for your friends at home and at school, college. Pray for even those whom you don't like. Pray for your servants. Pray for all the birds, the flowers, the bees, the animals. The entire cosmos is filled with divine light, and let it go on spreading out in widening circles. Slowly bring that light back to the region of your heart and let it rest there for the whole day. Rub your hands together, place it at your eyes, and slowly open your eyes. This little guiding light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little guiding light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little guiding light of mine, I'm going to let it shine all the while, let it shine. So with this prayer, let's move on to the next one, HIJKL, Law and Love. This is what my life was. When I got married, my parents were happy that I had gone into a Sai family. But my in-law, my father-in-law was a lawyer, my husband was a lawyer, the whole family was lawyers. So they wanted even the daughter-in-law to do law. My father-in-law was keen that I take up law, but I didn't like law. I didn't want to do law. I said, let me continue my teaching. Before my marriage, I was a teacher. Let me continue my teaching. So we said, okay, we'll ask Swami. We have asked Swami everything, so we'll ask Swami what we should do. So when I happened to go to Puttaparthi, I got married in June and August for a pre-Sevadal camp. At that camp, Swami called me and said, what are you wanting to do now? So I said, Swami, what should I do? Father-in-law is telling me to do law. So Swami said, do law and love. love and law. So I was wondering, what does he mean by love and law? Then he said, love your children and continue practicing law. So from that day, I continued to do Bal Vikas and continued to be working as a lawyer with my firm, our own legal firm. So that is how the law and love came into my life. Let's move on to the next M. Marga. As I told you, we must have correct path to follow. And how did I learn that? I learned it from the word Bal Vikas. You saw the consonants that I spoke about? Now, along with the consonants, there are 3 vowels in the word Bal Vikas. A, I, A. B-A-L. So the A, Vikas, B-I, K-A, in the second A. And I realized that this word Bal Vikas, the vowels of the word Bal Vikas, give us 3 margas. And that must be the marga that every individual must follow. First, remember, A, an appointment with God. Whenever you go for your youth camps or for your Bal Vikas or for your study circles or for bhajans, remember it's an appointment with God. So you must keep your time. A cute thing that I learned from my children, my Bal Vikas 7-year-old child taught me, I kept telling him to come to class at 5 o'clock because the class begins at 5 o'clock on Saturdays. And this boy would come in at 5:10, 5:15. It's a 1 hour, 15 minutes class. And if the child comes late, he misses, then he distracts everybody. So I told him, come on time, my boy. So he said, his name was Ravij. He said, Miss, I try my best to come on time. But what will happen? I said, you see, God will be there in the class. So he said, show me. And God supports your good thoughts. Whenever the class began, at 5 o'clock, the telephone bell in Bombay would ring. That in my house. In Bombay, we don't have gongs, but we have telephone bells ringing. So I would pick up the phone and say, hello, hello. And then there would be no reply. And I'd keep it down and say, I think Baba is trying to contact me and find out whether all the children have come to class on time. So the little boy, Ravij, 7-year-old, listened to it and started coming from next Saturday onwards by 10 to 5, quarter to 5. And he would sit and talk to me all about the TV shows. All Bombay children only want to talk about TV. Now, I didn't know much about TV, but I would listen to him and this would continue. One day, it was the second Saturday, and this boy had started coming early. That day, the telephone bell rang at 10 to 5. I picked up and said, hello, hello. There was no reply. And you know what Ramesh replies? Auntie, today is second Saturday. There is no traffic on the road. Swami came fast and therefore there was no signal. So remember that God has kept his appointments. That little boy, 7-year-old, had learned that there is an appointment with God and that Bal Vikas is an appointment with God. Not only Bal Vikas, whether you are a youth wing member or a bhajan singer or a study class leader, you must keep your time, must follow time. So remember, it's an appointment with God. And what are you opening up when you keep this appointment? The Bhakti Marga, the first Marga. Second is I. I is inquiry. By joining the study circle, by joining the Bal Vikas, by joining the youth wing, you start inquiring. Every night you ask yourself, is this what I'm supposed to teach? Is this what I'm supposed to read? What story should I tell? What bhajan should I sing? So you're all the time ruminating what story, what bhajan. And therefore you're starting the second marga, that is the inquiry, Jnana Marga. The third marga, which is opening up by doing Bal Vikas, youth wing, Sevadal, whatever be the activity you take up, the third wing, the third letter that you have is A again. Action without desire for fruit. Nishkama karma. Do your action, but don't crave for the fruit of action. And that is what we teach in our Bal Vikas. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbu ma te sango svakarmani. So remember, Do the action, but don't crave for the fruit of the action. Offer it to God. And that is the third marga which is opening, karma marga, nishkama karma marga. So we have therefore the three paths that are opening up by joining any wing of the organization. These are all shared by Bhagwan with me and giving me these insights at his lotus feet. Let us go on to the next one. Letter. We finish this, we go to the next one. The second, I still have lots on M. Swami performed my marriage, as was mentioned by Mehek. And what did Swami teach us at our wedding? He told us that first understand one another and then adjust. But today's world, you find that couples are trying to adjust to each other and then understand it, and there is confusion. So Swami told us, if you want your marriage to succeed, first understand and then adjust. The next important thing that Swami did was to allow us to do his Aarti. And the Aarti was a beautiful incident. The Aarti had 2 camphor tablets, and they were kept in the thali. And Swami flicked it like a carom board, that one camphor tablet mingled with the second, and it flew up in a beautiful flame. So therefore, Swami gave the message that marriage is unity, purity, divinity. Let the camphors unite, purify, burn in purity, and merge with divinity. This is a beautiful example of marriage. Let's move on to the next. I think I have one more in M, that is money. The next letter, the next slide, please. Swami told me, don't run after money. Money is like a shoe. If you must wear the same shoe which is of your size. Don't ask for too much money. If you have too much money, you will suffer. If you have too less also, you will suffer. It's like the shoe. It should be of the right size. If the size of the shoe is bigger than the size of your foot, you will fall. If it is smaller than the size of your foot, it will pinch you. It will bite you. So remember, money is like a shoe. This is an example that Swami gave us at the wedding. And he said, don't crave for too much money. Don't plan anything in your life. I shall give you enough. Enough deta hai. Enough deta hai. The next LMN, we come to N. A beautiful story that I tell my children is from the life of Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill was the Prime Minister and was invited to his alma mater, his school, to give a talk. Everybody was tired of talks. All you must be also getting tired of my talk. But then you have nothing else but to listen. You have no option. So Winston Churchill saw the boredom on the children's face, and he went up to the stage and said, dear children, I'm going to speak only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words. And on the 6th word, I will sit down. So everybody said, ha ha ha, not possible. Once you give a mic to a Prime Minister, he's not going to stop talking. Winston Churchill said, listen, it's only 6 words and no more. He went up and he said, never, 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 never. 4 words are up. Still 2 more to go. Never, never, never give up. So remember, dear children, don't give up your love for Swami. Don't give up your love for the leadership program. Don't give up your love for the youth wing. Continue this and remember that the given moment is now. Kal ho na ho. We don't know whether we are there tomorrow. The moment is now. So that's how we should spend our letter N. Then we go to LMNO. Be open-minded. Be optimistic. Now in these pessimistic times, when there's pandemonium and there's trouble everywhere, we must remember 10 sentences as we open our eyes. First, be grateful. Thank you, God. Say that first word, thank you, when you open your eyes. And then remember these 10 sentences. Keep on saying these 10 sentences every hour as the clock moves every hour. I am a strong being. I am a fearless being, strong and fearless. I am a peaceful being. I am a powerful being. I am a healthy being. I am a healthy being. Now the next come to the 5. Let God's ring of protection be around me. Let God's ring of protection be around my family. Let God's ring of protection be around my house. Let God's ring of protection be around my society. Let God's ring of protection be around my city. Let God's ring of protection be around the world. So remember these 10 sentences. I am a strong being. I am a fearless being. I am a powerful being. I am a peaceful being. Let God's ring of protection be around me. Let God's ring of protection be around my family. Let God's ring of protection be around my home. Let God's ring of protection be around my city. Let God's ring of protection be around my state. Let God's ring of protection be around the world. I am an angel of God. End with thank you, God, for making me an angel in your life. So these are 10 sentences that we must repeat every time the clock changes mark by 1 hour. And remember, when you drink water also, drink water. Jaisa pani, vaisa vani. Jaisa an, vaisa man. Concentrate on the food that you eat and remember these sentences. So always be open-minded, be fearless, be giving and forgiving. And then we go on to the next letter, practice. Swami said we must practice every day. Habit must be a way of our life. What must we practice? Be, do and tell. He told me that I once led the Bombay Youth Wing for a program in Kulwant Hall. And Swami was very happy with all the girls. He called me from the stage and called me and said, "Bahut acha leader, be, do, tell." And always start the day with prayer. Remember, the prayer reminds you that pray until something happens. Push. Pray until something happens. Push. So, the beautiful words of prayer, which are really true in life, is prayerize, actualize, and picturize. This is an example of a real life story. A couple, a divorcee couple, came to me and said the husband was keen that he gives a divorce to his wife. It's a true life story. But the wife did not want to grant him the divorce. Nowadays, we have what is called as divorce by mutual consent, where within 6 months, without telling the court anything, if you say that you don't want to live with the partner, then the court will grant it to you, the divorce. So this couple came to me, and the husband was dead keen that he gets a divorce. The wife did not want. She remembered the happy days that they had spent together. So she asked me, what should I do? I said, do whatever he says. Give in, let him say. So you go and find that petition. And we did it. And I said, what you do is, from the day you have signed that petition, pray to God. Pray what? That let this divorce not be granted. God, please do not grant this divorce. And pray with all your heart, with all your faith. And then what I told her next? Picturize. Picturize all the happy times that you all spent together when you all were in love with each other. And this continued for 6 months. The 6th month, it was time for the divorce to be granted. And this lady was getting jittery. Now it's going to happen. Now it's going to happen. I said, nothing will happen. God is great. He will protect you. And you know, on the 6th month, when they went to court, the husband came to the court and said, I don't want this divorce. The judge was shocked. You don't want a divorce? What happened? He says, the lady I fell in love with has left me and gone in for another man. So I don't want to go to this lady. I'll be happy with my wife. And therefore, we will live together as a happily wedded couple. So remember, prayerize, picturize, actualize, and pray until something happens. Push away, push with all your effort till something happens. Q, quietude. The next letter, Q. Practice quiet. Swami once fired me at Dharmakshetra. He said, "बहुत बात करती है." I never used to speak, but I think a lot, and that is what Swami spoke about, the chatter of the mind. So we must reduce the chatter of the mind. Try and make yourself quiet, calm. And once a beautiful example that he gave was to my father-in-law. My father-in-law was a lawyer and was working at Puttaparthi in the university as a law professor. One day, he happened to come early for the darshan, and Swami was walking in the veranda, and he asked him, "Mr. Pandya, what do you want?" My father-in-law was happy that Swami had recognized. He said, "Swami, I want moksha." "You want moksha? Come to the interview room." So Swami took my father-in-law in, and then started the beautiful experience that happened there. Swami kept asking a question, and my father-in-law, very intelligent lawyer, kept answering. Swami asked him, "What is your name?" He said, "Gulab Rai Atmaram Pandya." Second question, "What is your wife's name?" "Nirmala Gulab Rai Pandya." How many sons do you have?" "Nimish, Dharmesh, Mayur." "How many daughters-in-law do you have?" At that only I was one. "What is your daughter-in-law's name?" "Kamla." Like this went on a number of questions, and like an entire volley of questions going back and forth and back and forth. And finally Swami put up his hand and said, "Pandya, itna yaad karega to moksha kaisa milega? If you remember so much, how can you get moksha? If you want moksha, you have to forget to get God. Forgetting to get God." So remember that we must reduce the number of questions in our lives. Beautiful. Let us go to the next. R, right leader. That's what Swami told me, that when I was leading the youth wing of Bombay, Swami said, if the leader is right, then the children will be right. The boys are not behaving correctly, but the girls are behaving well because they are watching you. And that is what he told me at the time of my marriage also. 1 year after my marriage, he said, "Be careful what you wear. People are watching you. They will say ideal couple hai aur dekho kaisa kapda pehante." We had gone to Goa, and Goa is a place, where there are swimming pools, and so we went swimming. "I can't wear a sari and go swimming," I told Swami. So Swami said, "Shh, don't argue. Remember that you must be dressed well." And he showed me how to drape a sari also. So be forthright, be courageous, and face the beautiful life that Swami speaks about. Be a right leader. Next, we go on to S. And that reminds you of the Sri Satya Sai Seva organization. It has 4 S's, which reminds us how we should spend the different parts of the day. S, start the day with silent sitting. The second S, fill the day with self-study. Third S, end the day with self-audit. And fourth is then merge into Seva. And that is the Sri Satya Sai Seva organization. You start the day with silent sitting, what you did just now, the dhyana. Then you fill the day with reading, self-study. Read something, 1 chapter, 1 paragraph, read, but make it a habit now. And then S, end the day with self-audit. Am I been a better person today than what I was yesterday? Am I a better teacher? Am I a better lawyer? Whatever is your profession, ask yourself. And if the answer is yes, put your head on a pillow and sleep. If the answer is no, ask, where did I go wrong? What can I do to amend my sin? So service to man is service, and the last will be service. Seva should be the last step. First, build up your spiritual bank balance, and then go on to Seva. And for that, you must spend time in silence. Then we go to T, transformation. That is what is the purpose of this organization. The Sri Satya Sai Seva organization is helping us to transform ourselves. जब से मैंने साई पाया मेरा जीवन बदल बदल गया इस जहां की बुराइयों से मुझे छुड़ाया प्यार दे के तब से दिल मेरा मन मेरी काया मेरा जीवन बदल बदल गया जब से मैंने साई पाया मेरा जीवन बदल बदल गया सत्य धर्म शांति प्रेम राह दिखाया चलना सिखाया तब से दिल मेरा मन मेरी काया मेरा जीवन बदल बदल गया. That is the power of transformation. The complete change in your life will take place once you have seen Swami, once you have witnessed the beauty of Swami in your life. And that brings us to the next aspect of T, trustee. Being a Bal Vikas Guru, Swami kept asking after my marriage, how many children do you have? How many children do you have? And we had no children. So once while climbing down the steps of Dharmakshetra, he asked me, how many children do you have? I said, Swami, aapko malum hai, I have no children. He said, no children? He turned round to the 3,000 children. Ye 3,000 bacche kiska hai? All these Bal Vikas children are your children. And therefore remember that we should all, whether your parents, whether you're a father or mother, you're only a trustee of that child. The child comes through you and it is not yours. You have to look after them as trustees and offer them at the lotus feet. RST, you, understanding. I spoke about that understanding first, that we must first understand and then adjust. And we must be united in thought, word and action. And only then, remember the aeroplane TWA that we used to have before? Now it's not functioning anymore, but TWA is the thought, word and action. There must be unity of thought, word and action. And then only will you experience peace in your life. Will you experience joy in your life? Will you experience right character in your life? We is values. You must practice values. At least one value in your life you must practice. Take up the value of love or just Satya. Just one value if you practice, all the other values will come up to you. Similarly, give up one vice. If you give up one vice, all the vices will go away from you. So Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa, any one of them you can take. There are 83 sub-values, but Swami has classified, the NCRT has classified these 83 into 5 major heads. Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa. These 5, any one of them you bring in your life and you will find a change in your being. Similarly, if you give up one vice from your life, you will find that all the vices disappear. So that must be the values that we must always keep. The universal values of Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa. Any one of them inculcate in your life and you will find a change in your behavior. Next, we'll come to W. Watch yourself. Watch yourself, not in the mirror. Watch your words, watch your actions, watch your thoughts, watch your character, watch your heart. Then you will find that things are improving. And Swami always gives the beautiful example of the watch. And we must always look inside and watch ourselves. That is what Sai, see always inside. That is what Sai stands for. So remember to keep the watch not on your hand, but in your inside you. And watch your words, actions, thoughts, character and heart. Then we come to X. I'm forgetting my alphabets now. X is a journey to excellence, an exercise of excellence. We must every day strive to excel from good to better, from better to best. And every day there should be at least 1% improvement in our life, then you will find that excellence is not competing with others but with your own self. So remember that our exercise must be towards excellence, to improving ourselves, improving the world, improving the people around us. And then we come to Y and Z. This, by joining the organization, you can do yeoman service. That is a yeoman service. When the sailors go on ship, they render yeoman service. You are come on the Bhavasagar of life. And remember, you must render yeoman service to God, to Swami, and He will always be happy. And He is always watching us. So remember this, be careful, little children, what you see, what you hear, what you think, what you speak, because He's always with us, within us, above us, around us, watching us. And finally we come, don't forget the zeal in your life. Be full of zest, full of zeal, and continue your life with zest and motivation so that you will serve the world and make it a much better place to live in. Jai Sai Ram. That was a long exercise of ABC, and many of you must have forgotten your alphabet, but I reminded you from A to Z what are the alphabets that you can experience in your life. Every alphabet has a lesson to give, and that is what I can see. Arjun here, he is one of my Bal Vikas students. He came to me when he was hardly 3 or 4 years old, and his mother used to tear at her hair and say, "This boy will never learn maths." But today, I find such a change in him. The transformation that I spoke about is in him, and I'm very proud of him. Jai Sai Ram.
Very nice. Bobby will now have the Q&A, question and answer sections. Our participants normally ask a lot of questions, and I'm sure this will be directed to you on the topic, and maybe some of them may be away from the topic also. I request Aradhana to conduct the Q&A session, please.
Yes, Uncle. First of all, thank you, Auntie. Thank you so much.
I hope it was not childish for you all ABCD, but I wanted it to be light on a Sunday evening. I didn't want to tax your brains, so I thought it better make it as simple as possible.
It was, Auntie. Yes,
Bobby,
it was.
to tell you the truth, I think, we are getting so advanced in our thought processes that it's time that we come back to our basics and know where our roots are. And I think this is a great beginning. And for the leadership course, I think this is the beginning that we needed. ABC of life is what it is.
Yes.
Aradhana?
Yes, Uncle. Thank you, Auntie, for teaching us the ABC of life in such an incredible and a straightforward way. And it was one of the best Bal Vikas sessions we all had today. I'm sure all would agree with it. In fact, we are blessed today to have been connected to the Guru just after Guru Purnima. Some of us who were not part of Bal Vikas are now blessed profusely through you, Auntie. Now I would request my dear brothers and sisters to ask questions from our loving Kamala Auntie. Please either raise your hand or unmute alternatively, or you can use the chat box for asking questions.
Arjun, first question.
Aradhana, there are hands that are raised, you can ask. Can you see the hand raised?
Yeah, three hands are raised.
Sairam Auntie. Sairam Auntie, this is Saurav. Auntie, I just wanted to ask whether what is the right means to pray to God? Means अगर suppose मैं अगर भगवान से प्रार्थना करता हूँ या कुछ ऐसा कि पॉजिटिव वे में करूँ या नेगेटिव वे में करूँ, मतलब सपोज दो थॉट्स रहते हैं, जैसा आपने एक जो एग्जांपल बताया वो डिवोर्स वाला, तो उसमें वो लेडी अगर वो मैन के उसमें होता तो मैन भी वो प्रे करता.
But
so what is the thought process for that?
The thought process is always pray positively. Prayer means positivity. Prayer can never be negative. And this lady asked for a prayer which is positive, that her life should change, that her life should go back to what it was, not to that husband who was not praying at all. He wanted the new woman in his life. That is not correct. He was leaving a beautiful lady for another person, and that is only because of lust, because of desire. We must pray positively. Never pray negatively. And remember, prayer must be from the depth of your soul. Because prayer is talking to God. Prayer is communication with God. And God will only listen to positive prayers. You cannot say, God, make Delhi the capital of Maharashtra because you have written in your exam. God will never change the laws of geography for you. So you must pray positively.
Yes, ma'am. But just one more question, because if this is a case with man, okay.
Yes.
If the case is opposite, then the thing what I want to ask.
What does the opposite means? Is that the lady didn't
If a man
then the man should pray, God, keep my marriage safe, keep my marriage continuous. Then the God will listen to the man's prayers. If God doesn't see whether you're a man or a woman to listen to your prayer. He listens to the positivity of your prayer, to the honesty with which you pray, to the faith with which you pray, and devotion and dedication with which you pray. I remember I was hardly about 12 years old when I started getting intuitive, and that is the time Swami would come in my dream and tell me, pray. And what was the? I didn't know anything. I didn't know shlokas. I didn't go to Balvikas. I went to a convent school. So what I would do, I would write the Naam Likhit Jap. I didn't know about Naam Likhit Jap, but I had kept an old notebook, and I would write in that, I love you, dear Sai. I love you, dear Sai. I love you, dear Sai. And then when I was 17 years old and I came to Swami's fold, he asked me, you love me? He asked me, you love me? I said, I love you, dear Swami. I love you, dear Swami. And that is the reaction of Swami to my prayer. It took from the age of 12 to 17, almost 6-7 years, after which I came to know that I was on the right track. So you must pray as if you are talking to God, with communion with God. Don't worry about the result. Pray honestly. Okay?
Yes, thank you, auntie. Thank you so much.
You must pray and let me know whether you are doing it.
Sure. I'll let you know. I'll let you know personally, auntie.
Yes, you can write to me.
Yeah, sure.
Email me, whatever.
Sure, auntie.
Next, there are 3-4 hands up.
Yeah, there are somebody from Tamil Nadu.
Seven hands.
Tamil Nadu, can you please mute yourself, please? Or Chinmay, can you just look at it? Can you mute them?
Uncle, taken care.
Thank you so much. Aradhana, you can go ahead, please. TS NLP 21. Can you come on line, please, and then ask the question? You missed Aradhana, I think. Telangana State, F4 female candidate number 03. Please
Sairam, ma'am.
Sairam.
Ma'am, this is Shruti from Telangana.
Yeah, welcome, Shruti.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for this amazing session, ma'am. And you explained Jyoti Dhyanam in a very detailed way. And you are an inspiration, ma'am. Thank you so much. And thank you for the NLP team to conducting these amazing sessions. Thank you.
God bless you, my girl. Do the practice that dhyana every day. You will find that your memory will improve. First, you will find, and not only memory, your intuition will awaken. You will get answers before time. So practice it, and you will find this in your life change. I was an ordinary child. I was an average child. But from the time I started doing meditation, I became a gold medalist. So practice it and all will get gold medals.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good.
Sairam.
Aradhana?
Sister Shweta, do you want to ask any question?
Sairam, auntie.
Sairam, Shweta.
Rather than addressing you as ma'am, I felt it's like calling you as auntie.
Yes.
I hope, yeah, auntie. Like I felt
Kamla also, no problem.
no. Today's session, I felt like I'm in Balvika's class. Like I went back to my Balvika's childhood. Like, auntie, can you give? I am also Balvika's teacher. Like, I want some suggestions from you, auntie.
First thing, Shweta, become a Balvika's guru. As you become a Balvika's guru, you will be teaching children. As you teach children, you will be improving yourself. You will be first ingraining it in yourself, and then you will be parting it with the children. So first become a Balvika's guru. Since you have done Balvikas, you can become a guru with the least effort. You are 9 years you have done, so now you can become a guru. You will be an ideal guru for the children, and children love young gurus. They don't like old people like us. They want young gurus. So become a guru and practice. It's the safest sadhana that you can do, being with children. It's the most beautiful sadhana that you can do, because children are belong to the kingdom of God, and they will take you to the kingdom of God.
Thank you.
Auntie, there is a sister, Kavya. She has one question. Sairam, how to experience Swami though we didn't have physical interaction with him?
Actually, when I was also small, I only saw him when I was 7 years old, maybe 5 years old. I just remember very vaguely, because we were living in Bangalore that time. That was all. But Swami started coming in my dreams. And every Wednesday night, Thursday morning, continuously for years, maybe for months together, he would come and tell me only one sentence: teach my children, teach my children. So I used to wonder, what is he? I'm a teacher. Whom should I teach? And every Wednesday night, Thursday, he would say, teach my children, teach my children. And then one day, I was sitting in a bhajan, and next to me was a West Indian lady. And when the bhajan got over, she turned around to me and said, Kamla, will you teach my children the same words which Swami has spoken? I was shocked. I said, how does this lady know? So I said, yes. And that is how my life changed. She called me to her house, and that was a building in which your AIP lives. I didn't know at that time what is going to happen. But the moment I took on to Balvika, all the margas of my life opened up. Whether it's bhakti or jnana or seva, all opened up from Balvika. So you must remember that by doing don't have to have physical proximity. You have to have spiritual proximity to God. Keep thinking about Him, read about Him, read His books, do dhyanam, do silent sitting, do self-audit, and He will come into your lives. Try it just for 1 month, you try, and you will find a change in your life.
Thank you so much. The question was answered. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Auntie, Brother Sudarshan wants to ask one question.
Yes, Sudarshan.
Brother, please unmute yourself.
Hey, Sairam Ma, pranams, and thank you so much for the wonderful session, Ma. We really loved you.
Sairam.
Often there is a challenge with keeping up with the values, and being through the system of Balvikas, we can uphold values, and as Swami says, exemplary life is something we all would love to lead. But while doing so, the society around or the immediate peers, they give us a feeling that, hey man, this is quite outdated that you're talking of. Who touches parents' feet and who gets up early and does sadhana and all that? Now, of course, we are convinced for what we are doing. But then at times, it gives us a feeling that you are quite outdated and the value system is not something that's very practical, and leading a value-based life poses a lot of challenge. Yesterday, I collected my passport and she was asking me bribe. I had to say no to her with a strong face, but I'm in the mind worrying whether she'll still process my documents or not. Every time it's a challenge.
Pray, it will happen. Pray, it will happen. Prayerize. Pictureize the document coming to your hand, and it will happen. And let me know whether you get your passport processed. But one thing you must remember, that don't lose faith in Sai.
Yeah.
Because he's the master of the universe and he will never let you down. Keep that in mind. You're from which state?
I'm Sudarshan Nasiri, Maharashtra.
I thought I know you. That's why I asked you. I remember. Very good. Nice. How are you, Sudarshan?
I'm doing good, Ma. All your grace.
Good.
My
I saw you in the Maharashtra program also.
Yes, Ma.
Very good. Keep it up. You have got a good backing. You have got a lovely voice. Keep it up and do Swami's work.
And a lovely mother like you. Thank you, Ma. Love you, Sarah.
Now, Sister Soumya, could you please unmute yourself for the question?
Sairam Auntie.
Sairam.
Auntie, my question is that you said the Baba told you that kitna baat karti hai, even though when you did not used to speak. And even if we practice meditation and do many other spiritual things, still there is something or the other in the back of our minds and we tend to ponder upon it. And it is like we want to stop it, but it does not happen. Even like we have to sit with it and say, no, I'm not going to think about it. So it becomes very difficult. So it's like, can you suggest some things that we can do to stop?
Continue silent sitting, continue dhyana and read, and don't keep too many friends, because the friends will make you chatter. And I don't talk now. Now I've reached a stage where I don't like to talk. But when I was small, I used to chatter, go on talking. Everybody will call me buck. But now I don't talk. In fact, now what has happened, I feel sometimes that I'm blocked. I just don't want to talk. I feel there's no need to talk. Swami will do that. It took a lot of time for it to happen. And Swami fired me in front of Sarlanti. That time Sarlanti and Indubai were there and said, this girl is talking so much. Not correct. Teach her. Amma, teach her not to talk. And I didn't know what he was trying to say. But today I understand what he said. That to reduce the chatter of the mind. And therefore, whenever you are free, be alone. Don't try to keep company of friends. Because friends will make you chat. Even those friends you keep must be of like-minded people. Of your type. If, for example, I don't have any friends except like-minded people. Either Balvika's children, I spend my time with Balvika's children. And I have 2 neighbors who come and sit with me. Small little 7-year-old and 2-year-old. I enjoy their company. I don't want the bigger 70s and 80s and 45-year-old. I would be happy with small children because at least I can share with them all the stories of Swami. They keep saying, Auntie, tell us story of Baba. Tell us story of your Baba. That's how they...
And Auntie, one more question.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll practice more silent sitting. And Auntie, sometimes I am also Balvika's guru. And I take group 1 Balvikas. Yeah. But sometimes whenever I do something that I do not preach. I preach. And I do opposite of that. So it's like a contradiction between हम खुद कुछ और बोल रहे हैं, ठीक है, और हम कर कुछ और रहे हैं. So, Auntie, what should I do then?
Don't worry. You cannot learn everything overnight. When I joined as a Balvika's guru, I was 17 years old. I didn't know a word of Sanskrit. I used to get dread when I was told to teach the Suprabhatam, because Suprabhatam is like tongue twister for me. But every week I would learn one stanza and practice it all the time, and then go and tell the children now say it. And then with time it becomes natural, because then it will become a part of you. It will be your part. So just don't worry. The moment you worry, you are not having faith in God. So have faith in God, but put your effort. Effort must be there. We must make an attempt. We must practice. And then we must do and then tell. So for example, if I tell the children not to see TV, I don't see TV. If I tell the children not to eat non-vegetarian, I don't eat non-vegetarian. But I don't tell such things which I can't do. For example, if in Bombay, if you tell the child, don't see TV, his mother will tell you, I'm not sending him to your class. I say, so what I told the children, see TV. But tell me what good you learn from the TV. And I'll tell you about one night, young little girl. She's now a dentist. But this happened almost 10 years back. Arjun would be knowing her. This girl would come to the class and I would tell her, what have you learned from the TV? Share with me. So she would say, Auntie, there is an advertisement. I said, what advertisement? There is an advertisement of a father, mother and a small girl. And what are they doing? They're all showing their pearly white teeth and red colored toothpaste. And around the toothpaste, Auntie, have you seen? There is a string of protection going around. Not ring of protection, string of protection, because the sound comes string. Auntie, if we do the string of protection around the teeth, our teeth will become white. So also, if we do the string of protection around ourselves, our body will be protected. So now, Auntie, we should do the string of protection. And I learned from this little girl to do the string of protection. Till today, before I leave the portals of my home, I do the string of protection, the ring of protection. Just 1 minute, not even 1 minute, half a second it takes. Swami, be with me, cast the ring of protection, and that's all. And you will find that no harm will come to you. Otherwise, you go out, there will be heavy rain, there will be floods, there will be bombing. That will not happen in your life. You will find things happening which God wants to happen. So pray and remember the ring of protection.
Thank you, Auntie Sai.
There is a question from Himachal. There is a brother from Himachal. He wants to ask one question, Auntie. Brother Abhinav, could you please unmute yourself and then ask your question?
Sairam, Auntie.
Sairam.
Auntie, as you said, like N is for never give up.
Yeah.
So sometimes what happens is when you fall prey to you're not willing to give up, but sometimes there's so many circumstances in your life that you feel that you are falling prey and you want to give up in life. So what should if I talk about myself, like when I wanted to join the defense forces as my career because I wanted something adventurous in my life. But I somehow I gave the SSBs 12 times and 8 times I almost made it, but I could not clear it. And I'm a computer engineer by my education, so I did not even want a job where I would just sit in front of a system and just keep on working. So I just switched over. I came back home. I started off with traveling, this camping business. So where I would get to travel and know more people. So now since 2 years due to this pandemic, so situation is it's not that very good. So now I feel that after so much of struggle, it's after so many years, it's just been a struggle and you are not stable in your life and you feel like giving up. So what should I do?
Never give up. Just think the time is not right. The right time will come and then you will definitely, Swami will never let you down. Whatever is Swami's wish for you, it will happen. But don't forget prayer. Continue to pray. Swami, do guide me. Do whatever you think is right for me. Cast a ring of protection around me. Continue the ring of protection and you will find things changing in your life.
Thank you, Auntie.
Do it. Just 1 second it'll take. Just this and you leave the house and it will happen. And tell me when it happens, okay?
Sure,
I'll come and see you in the defense wing.
Sure, Auntie.
Good.
Auntie, there is a question in the chat from Brother Saksham. Loving Sairam, ma'am, my question is, when we have to decide between 2 paths to choose and when we ask guidance from Bhagwan, how to identify that which is the voice from Bhagwan and which is the voices coming from our mind, and how to take the best path in the situation?
You will definitely know the voice of God, because that is that which will keep you happy. The voice of the mind, which comes from the mind, will never make you happy. So you have to watch and see what gives you happiness. It will be the voice of God that will give us happiness. And that is what happened to me. I told you, every Wednesday night, Thursday morning, Swami would come and say, teach my children, teach my children, teach my children. And when it happened, it became a joyous experience for me. So you remember also that only the voice of God will give happiness. The voice of the mind will give turmoil in your mind. So don't follow the voice of the mind, follow the voice of God. Yeah?
There is one more question, Auntie, from Sister Anu Bharti. I see Swami in my dreams and I know he's trying to communicate a message to me, but I'm not able to come to a conclusion about this message. How to handle this situation?
What she says, my question is, I see Swami in my dreams.
Wait, I see.
Time is not over. The time is not over. You're not ready for it. God is testing you. He's waiting for the right moment, and then He will communicate, because His word will come true. So maybe the time is not right. Just try listening to what He says. Don't talk when He is talking. Let Him talk and you listen. Then only will it happen that you can hear what He's saying. So handle the situation by listening to the voice of God, and He will help you. Don't keep talking in between, then you'll not hear who's talking. Okay?
Auntie, one more question from a sister, Abhashri. She's from Orissa. Abhashri, please unmute yourself.
Sairam Auntie.
Yeah.
I'm feeling glad to be here, and it's a wonderful session. Thank you so much. Actually, my question is, अक्सर मेरे साथ ऐसा होता है कि मैं रात को ये सोचती हूँ कि कल मैं जैसे भी ध्यान करूंगी या फिर मेडिटेशन करूंगी, I'll stick on it, but सुबह होते ही I don't know how मेरी आंख लग जाती है और सुबह ये रियलाइज होता है कि मैंने सोचा था, कल मैंने प्रॉमिस किया था कि मैं कुछ करूँ, मैं मेडिटेशन करूंगी, और पता नहीं क्यों मैं जब भी स्टार्ट करती हूँ ना, बहुत सारे नेगेटिव थॉट्स मेरे माइंड में आते हैं, मैं बहुत रिकॉल करती हूँ उसको बाहर निकालने की, स्टिल मैं वहीं पे अटक जाती हूँ. एनीथिंग.
Don't get worried, don't get guilty, doesn't matter. Remember when I gave up non-vegetarian food, for 1 year I didn't eat non-vegetarian. Suddenly I could not control, I ate. Then again I prayed, and then I gave up. So also you remember that you have promised that you will get up in the morning. You didn't get up. Doesn't matter. You don't have to do it early in the morning. You can do it any time of the day.
Okay.
Any time of the day you can practice silent sitting. Early morning is good, but any time of the day will do. So practice whatever time you get up. Practice. Don't say अभी तो time छूट गया, मैं नहीं करूँगी, कल से करूँगी. Don't give time like that. Do it from that day itself. Doesn't matter if it's not 6 o'clock in the morning. It can be 12 o'clock in the afternoon. But do it. Yes?
Okay. Thank you so much, Auntie. Sairam.
Brother Ankit, please unmute yourself. Okay.
Hello, Sairam Auntie.
Sairam.
I'm Ankit from Madhya Pradesh. I have a question. मैम मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि आपने जो ABC समझाया है उसमें जो क्वेश्चन वाला जो पॉइंट था वो मुझे समझ में नहीं आया है.
वो है ना मेरे my father-in-law was the lecturer in Puttaparthi, and Swami wanted to prove that we must not ask too many questions. So what happened? Swami said that if you keep on asking questions, there's always a turmoil in your mind. So we have to reduce the number of questions. And he asked him so many questions that if you have so much in your brain, how can you get moksha? You have to empty your mind to get moksha. So आपको भी questions कम करना है. You have to reduce the questions in your mind. Yes?
Thank you, ma'am.
There is a brother from West Bengal, Totpen. Brother, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Sairam Auntie.
Yes, Sairam.
Yeah, myself, Totpen Singh Silpa from West Bengal. And my question is it's been like a year. I have been praying Master the same thing. Okay, like
I can't hear you. Your voice is cracking.
Am I audible now, ma'am?
Yeah, better.
Am I audible?
Yeah, better.
Yeah, like it's been a year that I have been praying my Master like the same thing. Okay, ma'am. Like even today also I prayed daily, but I can't see a sign that my master is talking to me. Like I'm not getting any answer. So what to do? I'm a little bit confused.
No, your voice is cracking. I cannot understand your question.
Hello, am I audible now, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's been a year. Okay, ma'am. I have been praying, master, same thing. Okay, ma'am. And I can't see any sign master is replying to me, whatever I'm praying. I can't see like any sign whether my master is
No, you have to
listening
pray
me or
with more
not.
devotion, my boy. You have to pray more devotion. You are not doing it earnestly. Pray as if with your fullest effort. Pray this is your last opportunity in God with God. Pray this is your last chance. So therefore, once you dedicate totally, surrender totally to God, He will never let you down. Pray properly. Don't make half-hearted prayers. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Auntie. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, Sai Ram.
Brother Manoj from Orissa. Please unmute yourself.
Sai Ram, Auntie.
Sai Ram.
Already some brother asked, but I want again. Like my question is, most of time I get confusion in some very critical situation. That I don't get any perfect idea and cannot take any perfect decision. That my discriminative power is very poor, I think. So that I don't know what should I do and what should not. So can you please give any suggestion or idea to say?
Don't have any complexes about yourself. Don't say your discrimination is poor. Remember, it is not your discrimination. It is Sai talking through you. So you have to surrender to Swami. Offer everything to God and let Him answer for you. You don't answer. Don't say that I am not good, I am not good. Say I am powerful, I am healthy, I am strong, I am the best. Do that, okay? Be positive. Don't be negative.
Okay, Auntie, if something happened already wrong by our hand, by my hand, then how could I get up from here?
Ask God for forgiveness. Ask God for forgiveness. Forgive me, God. Forgive me, God. Forgive me, God. Pray, and God will forgive. God will never let you down. God will forgive. God is Antaryami. He's Karuna Swami. He will never let you down.
Okay, Auntie. Sai Ram. Thank you, Auntie.
Sai Ram, Sai Ram.
Sister Sushri from Orissa. Please unmute yourself.
Seva in charge? Sushri?
Sai Ram.
Sister.
Sai Ram, Auntie. First of all, thank you so much. It was a wonderful session. Thank you so much. I felt like I'm sitting in a Balvika's class. I just wanted to say Sai Ram to you and I love you.
I want to see your face. I can't see you. I can't see you. I want to see. Put your video on. Where are you? That's you. You got a lovely face.
Thank you so much, Auntie. I just wanted to ask you that sometimes we know that Swami might not like this while we are doing something, or maybe this is not right, but still we end up doing that, and later on we regret about that. Why did I did that? I should have not done this. Swami might get not angry, but Swami might not like it and something like that. But still, I end up doing something like that and regret later on. How should I avoid that? And
don't worry, if you regret, it's a good sign. At least you're making amends. Don't worry. Nothing is wrong with you. You're perfect, my girl. Don't worry. The moment that you realize that you're doing wrong, it's a first sign of improvement. And remember, जब से मैंने साईं पाया, मेरा जीवन बदल गया. Your life will change. Don't worry. Okay?
Yes, Auntie. Thank you so much. I love you. Thank you.
Auntie, there is one more question from Brother Lalit. Brother Lalit, could you please unmute yourself?
I think he's not available right now.
Well, then there is one more brother.
Let's take it as the last question. It's already 9 o'clock now.
Okay. Rakshit, brother.
Sairam Aunty, thank you for the wonderful session. I am Rakshit from Karnataka. I just had one question. There are certain vices in us which are bad, which might have come from some bad influence of people in our earlier life. And I think as adults, everyone will face through the same problem. We know it is not correct. Swami does not approve those things. But still, as sister said, now we end up doing them. But what is the way to be consistent always in our effort and do not deviate from the laid path?
You know the answer. You are telling me the answer. My boy, you told me the answer. You have to be consistent. That's all. Just be consistent. Don't worry. If you are doing it, if you are very fact that you know that you will follow the right path.
Sukhino bhavantu samastalokaah sukhino bhavantu samastalokaah sukhino bhavantu. Shanti Shanti शांति जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।